Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? All right, everybody's cooking. So welcome to our first Frontline Arts Tech Talk live night for members. And we're doing it online here, although you can see I'm in the studio. I'm here, but I know it's like February at night, and we thought this would be easier this time around. So I'm hoping you enjoy. So anyway, yes, Frontline Arts Tech Talk, members only. Come on in, everybody. See, we got a couple people in the chain here. So everybody say hi. The live chat feature that I mentioned in the email is on the upper right of your screen. Hey-o. So yes, type here, people. All right. So yeah, please type there rather than comments below the video because I won't see that until after. Anyway, welcome. So I'll wait another little minute if anybody else might roll in. I think a lot of people submitted questions ahead of time, but I'm really curious to see who can attend. And of course, we will have a live replay afterwards for everybody who is busy tonight having dinner or what have you. And I'm also going to be putting a lot of links into the live chat. So when you go back and view this later, if you are looking at the replay now, instead of, see, I have to change it. Instead of top chat, you want to put live chat if you want to see every single thing in order as it's coming in. So you'll get to see the links there. All right, so I'm going to get down to business. And I printed out everybody's questions like a nerd. So I'm going to answer them in the order that they were received. And let's go. So first of all, we have Len Merlot, who wants to know about Sugarlift. And he wants to know the new non-toxic ways to do that, which actually have been posted a lot about by ZMAs lately, as Liz Chalfin was just in South Africa working with William Kentridge with David Krut's print shop. So that's pretty amazing. So anyway, let's explain a few of those things. I'm going to be doing a whole lot of show and tell. You can't really see, but I kind of turned the studio into a little disaster area here tonight. Just getting things out of the cabinets. And I'm going to keep getting up and showing you things. So hopefully that's not too boring. Okay. So first of all, what the heck is Sugarlift? If anybody knows, holler. Sugarlift has been, yes, all right. We got a what? So it's traditionally, it's kind of a way of making marks positively on your plate, because in etching, usually when you paint something on your plate, it's a resist, meaning that's not going to etch. But like, let's say you want to paint and you do want that to etch. There's some really wonderful Sugarlifts and Spit Bites by Picasso. That's right, Len, very painterly. So this is a good way to get those brush strokes on your plate. Traditionally, you use like a mixture of K-Row or something very sugary. Well, whenever they invented K-Row. And what you do is you let that dry on the plate, and you put a very thin layer of ground over top. And when it's totally dry and cured, you submerge it in a bath of really warm water. And what happens is the sugar expands and it breaks off the ground, and it actually reveals exactly where you painted. Pretty cool, huh? Then you have to aqua tint and etch that. And if you have any questions about what the heck I just said, please go ahead and ask. So anyway, big ground. This is the less toxic, sorry, weird reflection. Less Toxic Ground by Andrew Baldwin that we use here in the studio that we are able to roll on with a brayer. So here's some big ground. I don't know why it looks backwards to me, but I don't think it's backwards for you guys. It's very disconcerting. Although, hey, we're printmakers. Everything's backwards. Ah, you etch after the aqua tint. Although Andrew Baldwin does a weird little thing where he etches it first quick. I'm going to share those videos in a moment. So we have big ground, which is what we like to use. But before that, you take your copper or zinc plate and you want to degrease it. All right, good. It's not backwards. You want to degrease it, and you can use traditional methods of like whiting, or we like to use simple green and soy sauce. So you degrease your plate, and then you actually take instant coffee. Thanks, Len. It's coffee time. Yeah. So you take instant coffee grounds, and you just put these in boiling hot water. Well, just enough for the coffee to dissolve. And then you actually take that and you paint this coffee mixture on your plate. Then when that dries, you take a brayer and you roll on your big ground over top. And then you are going to cure your plate as you traditionally do. The big ground, it's 6 minutes at 275 degrees. And when that's all cured, you put that in a bath of hot water. Not so hot that it's boiling, but just enough that you can like put your hand in there, but it's like a little too hot. But you can still put your hand in there. So then the coffee acts like the sugar does, and it expands and dissolves and it reveals an image. So let me just give you some links quick for that. So I'm going to be typing them right here. Got a whole bunch of links coming at you. Hopefully that works. Oh, it's mad. Too much stuff. All right, let's do one at a time. So that is the ZMA's research on the ground. This is Andrew Baldwin. Those are the 2 videos that you can watch on the sugar lift, coffee lift technique. And you can come back and click on these anytime. Don't try to go watching everything now at once. That would be a bad idea. And here is the cool article about Liz Chalfin working with William Kentridge using this right now. It's really awesome. So anyway, let's back up here. So you have your brush strokes where the coffee expanded and revealed the strokes through the ground. Now you have to aqua tint. So this is the next thing. This is all stuff we're like right in the middle of researching right now. So excuse my big face here. So the other thing that we're doing is we have this really cool spray aqua tint recipe, also from ZMA's. And basically it's Pledge floor polish and golden GAC 100, wetting agent, airbrush media, India ink. So we have that in this awesome little solution here. Len and I have done a couple little tests. And yes, we do now have an airbrush. So, darn, I don't have that in my pile right here. Sorry, Len. Let me go see if I can find it quick. So anyway, we did a couple little tests with the airbrush, and I think we oversprayed it at first, but in the end, we're almost there, which means that we are able to do acrylic airbrush, a mouth atomizer. You know, that's interesting. Probably, I would think so. It's probably not going to be as fine as an airbrush. We have a medium tip on ours. But yeah, basically, I mean, it's like when you use rosin, right? You can use like really big chunks of it and get a kind of like starry atmospheric effect, or you can do a super duper fine mist, aqua tint, or small particles to get like a super velvety black. So yeah, play away, spray it however you want to on the plate. But anyway, that is in a nutshell how the sugar lift would work. Coffee, paint it on, warm water, expands, come off the plate. All right, any questions about that? I want to try to keep this to a half an hour, and because I know everybody's got things to do. I don't want to linger too long on any one thing. All right, so next I have some questions from Sigrid, who is a veteran printmaker, and she wants to know how she can be more involved. Since she left art school, she doesn't have access to printmaking equipment and space, and wants to know if there is a good technique for this, or geographically dislocated from cool veteran art programs. I think that's a fantastic question. So I actually asked some of our veterans their thoughts. I have some technical advice for that, but I thought it was really cool that Tara Krause, who often comes here on Sundays, thought it would be a great idea to do something like this on a Sunday. If you are interested in that, Sigrid, let us know if we would maybe do a live stream once in a while on a Sunday to check in with our other veteran artists and see what kind of projects they're doing, a different way to communicate if you can't physically get here. So I thought that was a really great question for this live stream. But other than that, technical advice. So there are a lot of ways to print by hand at home if your issue is more, yes, and come to A to A. Thank you, Leocadia. No, A to A, do a live stream. Yeah, how about that? You can print by hand with a lot of techniques. So I don't know what exactly techniques that you use. Screen printing would be something very easy to set up at home in your home studio. There is also relief printing. So you could set up a kind of jig. Sorry, I keep grabbing my bags of tricks here. So if you have some kind of jig and you carve a linoleum block, it's really easy. Yes, white line woodcut. That's another great technique. You can use, if you're printing by hand, I would definitely recommend a very thin paper to print with, like mulberry, nice Japanese paper. And you can put a piece of newsprint over top so that you aren't rubbing and pilling up the paper too much. And you can literally use a wooden spoon, or you can use, this is called a Baron. They make really nice bamboo ones as well, but this is like a typical speedball one. In fact, this one is vintage. Pretty cool. So anyway, it's pretty easy peasy to print at home. And then there is also the, there is also the Akua pin press if you're interested in doing monotypes and other things. And this is going to lead up to another question that some people have. I'm going to put some other, yep, Akua monotype with a spoon, exactly. I'm putting some press links in the side there, just so you can see some little places to get presses. Actually, one of our members buys and sells presses, and he's working on something. Mike Stark of Pink Line Press down there. So if you're in the market for like a really small, cool tabletop press that might be affordable. There is also, this one's funny. Tara did say something about printmaking with your car. Drive over those plates. So I included a video about that. That is possible. Steamroller printing is a big thing, but I'm not going to assume you can easily get a hold of a steamroller. But you could literally drive over your relief block if you wanted to. So there's a cool YouTube video about that. And then people keep talking to me lately about this little printmakingpress.com small handle press. It's like got these little rollers on it. Nice. Yes, people are 3D printing tiny miniature presses as well. I know, it's crazy. So it's like, if you want to make prints that are this big. So anyway, lots of different ways to apply pressure by hand just to transfer the ink onto the paper, whether you're doing relief or monotype. I wouldn't recommend it for, say, etching or litho because those techniques need extreme pressure, except I'm getting to litho very soon, and we're going to talk about some faux litho techniques that you can also try at home. So stay tuned for that, Sigrid. I know, right? Isn't that cool? Okay, so speaking of litho, that is the next question. We have Pat Feeney-Morrell, who asked a pretty fascinating question about photolitho. She says, what facilities do you have for photoplate lithography? What size and brand of press, inks, papers, dot screens? Do you plan to teach a class? Well, funny thing, that is literally the very, very first class that I assisted here right when I got this job. It was with Alka Klaus, who's from Chicago. She was our artist in residence the year before. And Lee Cotty, you probably know all those deets. And it would have been the fall of 2014. We had photolitho here. And I can't say that we've done a whole lot of it since, but we were using our Charles brand etching presses. Thank you. And it did work. So I brought a couple little examples of that. So you were asking about dot screens, Pat, and we would actually make our own films here. So I'm going to grab something, a few things. So first of all, here is a photolitho plate. This is an emerald plate that you can get from Tackage Press. I know I'm ruining it here. But so it's just bare metal on the back and emulsion, green emulsion on the front. So let me go pop that link in quick. I don't see why we couldn't do this sometime again soon. I just need someone to teach it. All right, so here comes that link. All right, and basically you would get you want to get a 200 to 300 DPI halftone in Photoshop, and you do that by going to grayscale and then up to bitmap and halftone screen, and then you would pick ellipse or round dot, 200 or 300 DPI, output it, and then print it on a film. We have a really great Epson 7900 printer to do that here. So it would look something like this, except that is a much lower DPI for screen printing. This is like 65, I believe, and pretty pixelated. But yeah, we can totally make our own films here for all photo processes. And basically, what you want to do is, I still have my notes from Alka, believe it or not, from five years ago. So when you're figuring out exposure times on the exposure unit, and this is going to relate to two other questions we have soon, you want to get a Stover scale, one of these little bad boys. And basically, you keep testing exposure times until you get to a certain number on the scale. And Len and I actually did this to figure out the times for the polymer letterpress plates. And for photolitho, you want to get to number 7. So you try to get a solid number 7 on here. And then all you need is some, I don't know why I got this out of the cabinet because it was fun. So you just have to, after you expose the plate, you have the proper time. In our Amerigraph, you spray it with Photolitho Developer. You want to keep rocking it in the plate. This is all done in the darkroom. And after that, you get this positive plate finisher cleaner after you're done developing and rinsing to kind of seal it off and clean the plate. And I'm pretty sure this has gone bad. It looks pretty disgusting. Maybe that's why I got it up. Ooh, look at this. Don't drink it, kids. And, sorry, I'm answering what things you need. And then you basically just need a fountain solution for printing, which is this here. You can also just use some gum arabic, which, what would us lithographers do without our metal bowls and cheesecloth and gum arabic? That's what you need. So anyway, I have been kind of scared about printing litho plates on an etching press for some time. I tried it for a little while. If any of you here have given it a shot, please chime in. This is for traditional litho plates. And I've read from Dwight Pogue that he likes to use offset blankets on top there. Some people like to use one blanket and a tin pin. Yes. And then most recently, I heard from David Newman in Texas that he just loves to use one tin pin. And a tin pin is typically like a piece of Lexan is great because it doesn't break like plexiglass. And just a whole bunch of newsprint. So newsprint and a tin pin is it. I did actually print these here. So those were litho plates that happened on our etching press. True story. But this is a stone, and I really miss stones. That is one thing we cannot print on the etching presses, but we still have them. Anyway, and to finish Pat's question and get back into the next one, what we need for a workshop is 3 to 7 students and a good instructor. So if anyone wants to propose, or I will find somebody. Do we have a lot of interest in litho? We seem to tonight at the Tech Talk. So if you want it, it will come. That leads right into Tara Krause's question, which is great. I love it. So she wants to know, how can we get litho-esque techniques in here? And what are all the other iterations of it besides just traditional stone litho? Yeah, Tara, yeah, she's here. Just in time. So what I was just showing was a photo plate and an aluminum plate. So they're both made from aluminum, and they are imitations of a traditional big limestone that litho is printed on. It would be pretty insane of me to just like go grab a litho stone and show you right now, unless it's a baby one. Holler if you want me to show it. I can get a baby stone. Thunder and lightning. Oh, I answered Leocadia. Timpin, yes. So this is a ball-grained litho plate. It has a texture that imitates a stone. So that is something that we can print here, but I still have to figure it out. And there are actually some really cool developments with less toxic litho that I keep watching coming out of Zygote Press in Cleveland, etching with lemon juice, which is pretty nifty. And then there's also Dwight Pogue, who has the BioLac, which I really had great success with. But anyway, besides that, the other imitations, oh yes, and there is, let me put this up here. I'm really curious to have one of these workshops here someday. Dwight Pogue also has century plates, and they're like a weird cross between a litho stone and a litho plate. So yes, Dwight Pogue. So it's like a plate that's kind of thicker, and you can keep graining it and keep using it, so you don't have to have a big stone. So yeah, check out those links over there and the workshops in that. Maybe we can have that someday. So I'm going to kind of like go down the rails of the different ways to imitate litho. So another method is, and if anybody wants to know more about like how the heck do you do litho, what is it, please ask more questions. You're basically drawing on a surface with a greasy crayon. and processing it with gum arabic and water, and you roll it with ink while you're dampening it with a sponge the whole time. It's fascinating. It's a science experiment, but my favorite. So I guess the next imitation would be pronto plate litho. We've also had a class in that here with Justin Sands, who now runs the Bob Blackburn print workshop in New York. And basically, it's literally a polyester plate. They go by several names. We have Smart Plate or Pronto Plate. And I'm going to grab some of those over here. I have a little bag of examples. Now, you don't want to touch these because you're going to get them greasy. And remember, grease prints in everything litho. So this is what a polyester plate scrap looks like. It's super thin. And you can get those wonderful crayon marks on the pronto plates. So let me throw those links up there. So here are pronto plates and where to buy them. And basically, you can make marks in several different ways. So example C, I have. So you can use traditional litho crayons. Some people really love these Crayola crayons as well. Or you can use Sharpie oil-based paint pens or regular Sharpies. But one other really cool thing to do is you can put a toner image onto a pronto plate. So you can run it right into a laser printer, which is pretty fun. And I still have my notes from that. If anybody ever wants details on like the DPI, you can get pretty high, like 1200, I believe. And the only thing is with toner, as with other etching techniques, you also have to heat set it and cure it. So I remember we were making like little ovens with cookie sheets on the hot plate to bake the plates, although you can easily burn them, which is not good. Another genius technique is to tell your laser printer that it has, that you're printing, but it's actually a blank page. So you just kind of rerun it through the laser printer a few times in order to like kind of reheat it without actually printing more on it. So that's another way to cure your pronto plate. And then, sorry, last really fun fact. And pronto plates you can very easily print on an etching press. Some people prefer that for some reason. It's easy for a class to like swap around and switch their plate. So, you know, usually when you're on a litho plate, you're just kind of locked in for an hour. So, yeah, we had a great time with litho pronto plates on etching presses. And to print them, some people like a softer mix of ink. Oh, yes. And Pat also asked about litho ink mixes. We do have shop mix. Some people mix, crayon black with roll-up black to make their own shop mix. Anyway, but with pronto plates, some people actually prefer to use etching ink. Sometimes that works a little better. So all you do is after your plate is heat set, or if you just drew with Sharpie or something non-carbon based, you just wipe it with water and ink it up. Maybe you have some gum arabic in your water solution. Take a little brayer and roll it up and run it through the press and print. My only beef with the pronto plates is they kind of break down easily and it's hard to really get a long addition from them. So it's not, you know, if you want to print like 25 or more of something, I wouldn't do pronto plates unless you want to keep making a new one. That could work. But check this out. You literally clean the plates with toothpaste. How cool is that? If they start to scum, or when you're ready to like put the plate away and you're done printing, you swipe some toothpaste and water on there. Fun facts. All right, next imitation litho technique is kitchen litho. Tara, I know you didn't. Did we use pronto plates in the Akua? No, this was not in the Akua class. So this is a whole other thing. So I'm happy to show you more in person as well. It's literally another imitation litho plate that prints exactly like a litho. Can you reprint an old Pronto plate? Yeah, if it hasn't like totally clogged and scummed up. If it's still good, you know, just give it some juice and see if it takes ink. It should, if everything's fine. If it's all degraded, or like if the toner is just like coming off or whatever you put on it, then no, we would have to make a new one. All right. Next imitation litho technique, thanks guys for hanging in with me, is kitchen litho. Tara, I didn't know if you knew about kitchen litho. How many can you get in one edition? Like 5 to 10, maybe? It depends. It depends how the print gods are feeling that day, I feel. Sometimes they just want to scum up right away and they're really don't behave. So let's go to kitchen litho. Clearly, I've already gone over the half-hour mark here. We're almost done, kids. About 15 more minutes. So kitchen litho is, yes. We're making fun of the print gods. We're at their mercy. Kitchen litho is a fun technique where you literally draw on foil and with something greasy or a Sharpie, you draw on aluminum foil and you etch the litho with Coca-Cola or some Coca-Cola-like product. Why? Because it has phosphoric acid in it and gum arabic. So it's great for lithography, maybe not for your insides. Think about that. So you etch with Coca-Cola and then you wipe the image away with vegetable oil to remove the drawing, and then you sponge it damp and roll up with ink with little brayer. So that's fun. Once again, I don't think that lasts very long. I think kitchen litho lasts even for less prints than Pronto plate litho, probably just a couple. But it's just cool that you can do it in your kitchen. Some people even print it by hand without a press, like the spoon that I showed you earlier behind thin paper. And Tara, that is kind of like what the link that you sent me. So this was interesting. I'm just going to share this with everybody. I never heard of this, but apparently this is a lot like kitchen litho, and you can use the ampersand clay board and draw on that. And he sanded it first and drew and then processed it and inked it up as well. Although I have to say, I kind of laughed, and Tara, you mentioned this as well. It totally didn't work. He was just like, oopsie, I'm still going to post this video, even though, yeah, I lost the image. I think he dry rolled. I think he didn't have enough water on there, and he just rolled ink like all over the place, which happens a lot in litho. A lot. Unless you got your sponging down. Okay. So last faux litho technique. And guess what, guys? I'm writing this up as a class right now with Karen Friedman again. I'm very excited. So this is with the Akua carborundum gel. So let me go grab those little trinkets. Sorry for the view, guys. All right. So here we have Akua carborundum gel. We did have a demo and a class in this in the past. I don't even know where to set things now. Sorry. And basically, it is a gel that already has carborundum grit in it, mixed into it. And you apply that onto one of these PETG flexible plastic plates and a nice thin layer. We have done it with a screen. If you watch Susan Rostow's videos of Akua, you can also just kind of use like a squeegee, spatula, kind of Bondo style. And Len even suggested tape on the sides. So however you want to get a perfectly thin layer of this gel down on your plate. Totally obsessed. That's right, Len. Let's give it up for Len's experiments. Here's a Len plate. So Len likes to use the carborundum gel in his collagraphs as well. So it's kind of fun to paint on to get a dark texture onto your plate so that the ink will kind of grab onto those spots. So you can see the gray is the carborundum gel. Anyway, so this faux litho technique, though, I never would have thought of this to use it in this way. And let me go grab that link quick. Okay, so if you watch that, that is Susan Rostow, the master of Akua, who she calls it wax techniques. So basically, there are two different ways that you can use it. One is, oh, here's the plate. Yay. So this is actually the plate. We used mat board that we coated with carborundum. And you can see it has been printed because it is black, although I think we also used black mat board to see a little easier. So you take a white China marker, this is a black one, and or candle wax, and literally draw on a plate where the carborundum gel has already dried on it. And basically what you're doing is you're clogging up the pores. I know that sounds kind of gross. Yes, black mat board. It rocks. So you clog up the pores, and in essence what you're doing is you're making kind of like a mezzotint, or like you're scraping an aquatint, right? So in etching, it's all the texture that holds the ink, and the smoother you make it, the less ink it holds. So the more the ink wipes out, aka you get a highlight or a value, a gradation. And this is kind of like a quick and easy way to like do scraping by rather smoothing the carborundum by like clogging it with wax. So that's pretty cool. So this actually prints. So plate and print. And here's another cool print from that demo. So it actually looks pretty neat. It's definitely not going to last as long as a mezzotint or an aquatint, but it's kind of a fun, really super cheap way to get that effect. I mean, if you don't have like $300-400 to buy a rocker and a bunch of copper, get some gel and some mat board, eh? So anyway, that's the mezzotint version of it. And the other thing that you can do, so it's like you're literally doing the reverse. So instead of white on black drawing, you can do black on white. So you can also take the dried carborundum gel on a plate and draw on your plate with a litho crayon. And rather than inking it up like an etching, you print it like a litho, which is super cool. So what you do is you're literally releasing the litho crayon back off of the plate. So you have your carborundum gel, your release agent, which is used in Akua monotype to kind of, it's like a soapy substance that releases the ink back off of the plate. And it actually makes the crayon lift off and onto your paper when you print. So litho crayon on carborundum gel plate, release agent, wait 3 minutes, and then run it through the press with dampened paper. Make sense? It's definitely a pretty cool, hold up a little closer, a cool little quick imitation litho technique. So there, I think I just gave you like 5 ways to imitate litho. What do you mean, Katia? Monotype? I mean, I guess that's kind of a good question. You could call it a monotype. You're not going to get a ton of an addition off of that either. Once again, probably like, I don't know, 5 or 10. So these are just kind of quick and dirty, like little fun, little easy techniques to do. Not for a serious addition. Okay, cool. Just making sure I understood. All right, so I think I got through all of the litho possibility questions. Let me know if I missed something, Tara, or if I just confused the heck out of you. How much tonality do you get in the black and white? It's not bad. I mean, it's definitely not. Should I do this? Wah wah. Stone litho. versus carborundum faux litho. So like that sphere is not bad. It's not bad, but it's definitely, you're not going to get stone litho finesse, you know? Oh, yeah. It's not bad though. We'll figure it out, Tara. Don't worry. All right. So I'm going to get into one last subject, which of course is super nerdy, and I'll have to try to get through this quickish. If anybody has to jump off, I'm not going to cry. It's okay. I understand. We're going late. So Ingrid Renard asks, do I understand we are no longer using the big exposure unit for image-on plates? And some of you might be like, I don't know what you mean by any of that. So, check this out. We just got a new to us exposure unit. That's what it is. We just got the Newark 26 1K from Dennis Murray. Thank you, Dennis. You're totally amazing. And so if you want to see what it looks like, check out that link. I'm not going to like take the computer down to the darkroom or haul it up here to show you. But I'm so excited about this exposure unit because we can finally do like step tests where the light comes from above, and it's going to be way easier to figure out photoplate exposure times. The image area of it is about 20 by 24. So all y'all interested in photolitho, solar plates, Toyobo plates, and image-on, you're going to be excited about this. Len and I really worked hard to get it going. Thank you, Len, for all your help. And we just figured out one more little thing where we have to replace the circuitry behind the keyboard. So once we do that, I think we're good to go, and we're going to start doing exposure tests. So yes, Ingrid, to answer your question, we are going to move to image-on on another exposure unit. So I just wanted to grab some of my tests here. Oops. Let me get the next ones. I really have you guys should see the pile around my desk right now. It's pretty ridiculous. I need an assistant. Okay. So some of you also might be like, no worries, Leocadia, I'm just talking about image-on and solar plates for the last 10 minutes. Thanks so much for joining. Okay. So here's a link about Here's a link about image-on. Basically, it is a photo film that you can apply onto the same kind of plastic plate that we use for Akua, and it's blue. It's kind of a pain in the butt, so because you have to make your own plate. Like you literally laminate film in water in the darkroom, and you have to peel off all these layers, and it has to cure 24 hours and then get developed after it's exposed. Why would you do all that? Well, because it ends up being less expensive than solar plates, and also you can go big much more easily because it is less expensive. So it's kind of cool. I had a lot of fun with image-on in Italy with Rompicrasso. I totally hated it before, but now I know some tricks. And what ended up happening was, like, I got close. So here's the Adobe Fruit Lady, as we call her. So here she's overexposed. So right here, I got pretty close with the image-on times on the Amerigraph exposure unit. But because of how strong the bulb is, like there's just like no give here. I'm down to like 2 units with the lights, between 2 and 4 units. And I don't have a whole lot of leeway. So that's why we're going to switch to the other exposure unit so that we can get a little bit more nuanced exposure. I'm hoping the bulb isn't quite as intense, so we can slow the times down, which means I have many more steps in between there to exactly get the right time. So Ingrid, I hope that answered your question. Can't wait to play. Final question, which plays right into that. So we have Liz Mitchell. Hey, Liz. I know you're going to watch this later, too. Liz asks, I'm always interested in testing that's been done using various inks, particularly anything you might have to say about Caligo Safe Wash, Relief, and Intaglio inks. Also, I'm curious about papers. Do you have any updates on exposure times with solar plates? Okay, cool. So, first of all, Caligo inks. I'm going to include some links to that. Oh, it's mad about my amount of text again. Hang on, guys. Okay, so this is Caligo from Blick. Caligo from Renaissance Graphics. And then they gave me a cool little guide a while back to all of their colors. So what the heck is Caligo ink? There are a couple of main manufacturers of printmaking inks that are less toxic. So in other words, you don't have to clean them up with solvents. Although I always correct that and say you don't have to use solvents. You can clean up with mineral oil, although I know that's still petroleum-based. Everything's toxic. Baby oil, which is the scented version, or various organic vegetable-based solvents like soy solve, citrusolve, or any of those things. So, but what's cool is they're still oil-based inks, and they have manipulated them to be cleaned up with soap and water. And I think that's really awesome. It makes for very quick cleanup too, and you don't have rags with hazardous solvents on them. So I'm just gonna show you my awesome collection of Caligo ink here. So yes, Liz is correct. So they make Safe Wash. Safe Wash is their name for soap and water cleanup. So they make a Safe Wash ink in both. I can't read that. It's inky. For both Intaglio and for Relief. So here's like bone black, sepia, and then they also make modifiers. So like this is their oil, and they also have an easy wipe compound. It's really cool. Anyway, they also make a traditional ink. Oh no, I got inky. In letterpress and Intaglio and Relief as well. And I love it because it has the same consistency as regular etching and relief ink. Some people are really turned off by Akua because it's so like kind of runny and soupy, not as much as it used to be, but still a bit, which is why I love it for monotype, and I don't always use it so much for etching and relief because of the consistency. However, you can add mag mix to it and kind of stiffen it up a bit. But these inks are like really stiff. Like the Caligo, if you're used to Gamblin, Portland Black, or a stiff etching ink like that, it's a pretty similar feel. I'll show you some prints too, Liz. So these are two Caligo prints. So this one is in their warm bone black, and then this one is their cool black, so you can see the difference here. And I have some of my own. So you can see how it compares to traditional ink. So that is the Caligo, sorry, it's just like my mouth talking. That is the Caligo cool black. So you can see it has a pretty harsh, cool look to it. And that is the carbon black. I don't know if you guys are watching this in high def. And then this was just a regular traditional Charbonnel. So you can see it has a bit more plate tone to it for sure. You kind of have to get used to wiping it a little bit, but totally comparable, I think. Looks pretty good. And you're cleaning up with soap. Although Charbonnel also makes the Aqua Wash series, which I think is just as good. You don't need any modifiers for it. It's like totally amazing. So I would highly recommend Charbonnel Aqua Wash, Caligo Safe Wash if you're looking for soap and water etching or relief inks. All right. Next question to follow that was paper. And we're in solar plate land now. We're talking about solar plates. So I really love Hahnemühle copper plate. So there is a link for that paper. I think it's absolutely by far the best. I love it for etching. I love it for solar plate. I love it for Toyobo plates. A lot of people definitely agree with that pretty much across the board. And it's not bad. It's usually like $3.50 for a 22 by 30 sheet. Yeah, you just soak it for like 20 minutes. You could get away with 10 minutes with the Safe Wash ink, I think. But it's just really beautiful stuff. And that's what all these prints were on. Jasper Johns, you go. That's right. Can't argue with that. Len, where's that show again? I know it's in New York, but I can't remember what gallery you told me. Yeah, you can't. I can't show you the texture of paper on YouTube. I think that would be hard to do. But anyway, I highly recommend that. I mean, some people like Reeves BFK. Some people like Somerset Velvet. Thank you, Matthew Marks Gallery. Go check it out. But yeah, I don't feel like those papers print with as rich enough of a value. I know some other printers really like German etch. I'm not usually able to get a hold of that too much. So the last question, I'm going to wrap this up now, I swear. Liz asked if we had any updates on our solar plate times. So I'm going to include here the most simple solar plate curves guide I could find. There's a lot of stuff that is really like migraine inducing, head exploding with curves in Photoshop. And we came up with one that works very well. It's literally a file that I can send you if you have solar plate. If you have solar plate. If you have Photoshop for your solar plate exposure. And you can load this file into your curves adjustment layer in Photoshop, and you're pretty good to go. So it's just kind of making your transparency a little lighter so that the exposure is a bit better and you get more mid-tone. So I'm going to show you that super quick. Liz, you've already seen this, and this is what we did with your plate. So I can't say that we have any improvements. But here you go. Here are two samples. So this one, these are both the exact same exposure time. It's really fascinating. And this one over here is without curves, which means it's just the image straight up as it is out of the computer. And this one does have the curves applied to it. So what that means is we've adjusted, you know, instead of like diagonally straight across, we've kind of made like a peak. And it ends up making the transparency look a little bit more anemic. But counterintuitively, it gives you more midtones. So you can see how this one's more high contrast, which is how solar plates can expose. And then this one, you actually see a lot more detail in like the pearls and the necklace and the skin tone and the background drape. It's pretty wild. So that is all photo exposure fun. And since I have this one in here, if anybody else still has these orange plates, these are the old solar plates. Sorry, I'm rummaging through bags here. These are the new ones. So old orange, new yellow. Just showing you for fun. This is a print that I got from the old orange solar plates. Like they're starting to break down because they're so old. And it has this weird like dolphin skin kind of texture on it. But it works. So I don't know. If you have a stash of these plates, we can play with them, but you're going to get some pretty experimental results. Just saying. So what I want to wrap that up with is a little plug here. Not to make this totally promotional. But if you are interested in any kind of photo plates or solar plates, I am putting a link right there. Len and I are teaching a class on March 30th and April 6th. And we're actually, Len, I'm just calling you out here. So the first class is just drawing on Mylar, frosted Mylar with ink washes, graphite even. That lightest gray is graphite, and then like darker crayon and stuff like that. And like you can see how much detail we got here. It's pretty amazing. Len has nailed down the exposure time to a T to pick up all the subtleties. So that's really exciting. So half the class is going to be hand drawing. And sorry, Liz, I'm going to show this too. You can see all the different test times we did with Liz. We actually scanned her drawings into the computer and then adjusted curves onto them. So if you want to have a ton of control rather than just seeing what drawing on Mylar does, you can scan your drawing and then make a film of your drawing. That's another way to go about it. So yeah, the second class is going to be all photo techniques, which these would be like some cool photo solar plates. These are actually the Toyobo plates, but you can see what kind of neat detail that you can get. It's basically like an instant etching, photographically exposed. Oh, all right. I think I answered all of the questions. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody that submitted in the question sheet last minute. Doesn't look like it. So if anybody has anything else they want to know, just type it over there. Otherwise, I'm gonna let y'all eat dinner and have a nice time with your fam. Whatever you would like to do at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. Thank you so much for hanging in. I see I still have several viewers here. I really appreciate it. I know that was kind of a fast-talking whirlwind, but I wanted to try to get through everything in not like 3 hours. So it was 1 hour. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Hope to do it again soon. Bye.